Hey guys, Anna Green here with Anna Be Changing. I'm here to help you believe in yourself again, take action, and create your story. So let's dive in. For me, the last couple of days I've shared with you the different portions of my story where I realized that the weight loss and the numbers were not all that I needed to focus on. And I decided to get some help and work through some of the emotional things that were holding me back in my life and went to therapy. And then tonight, I want to kind of give you a portion, the later portion of that piece that has really helped me most recently. And so after I wrote the letter to judgment that we talked about yesterday, oh my gosh, I felt so empowered. I felt like I could conquer anything I wanted to. I completely connected with the purpose that I had in my life and where I felt like I was being drawn. I'd never been so focused and so alive and so on fire. And then my therapist asked me to do something else. I had such great, just kind of a breakthrough with that letter to judgment that he asked me to write. So he asked me to do something else. And he said, okay, write the start of your next chapter. And I went, what? I don't know. I don't know what my next chapter is going to look like. I was just excited. I just kind of want to live in that excitement, not really like reality. So again, every time he gives me an assignment, I have a week. And if you remember from yesterday, you'll see a common theme here. I procrastinated. I thought about it the whole time, but I could not put pen to paper until an hour before my session with him again, and that's exactly what I did before. But what I did is I was just trying to focus, and I put on, just shuffle on a playlist of mine that I had to just kind of focus and clear my mind a little bit. And a song came on that it was like, oh, okay, music is very important to me, and as a singer, the lyrics are very important to me as well. And this song came on and it just completely spoke to me, and it's called You Are More by 10th Avenue North. And the lyrics that I'll share with you, this is what really spoke to me initially. There's a girl in the corner with tear stains on her eyes from the places she wandered and the shame she can't hide. She says, how did I get here? I'm not who I once was, and I'm crippled by the fear that I've fallen too far to love. You are more than the choices that you've made. You are more than the sum of your past mistakes. You are more than the problems you create. You've been remade. And I had heard that song tons and tons of times before. Thought it was a cool song, but didn't really connect anything to it. But in that moment, those lyrics just kind of let another barrier and another layer of bricks come down for me. You are more than the missteps that you've had. You are more than the choices that you've made. You're more than that. So then I thought, okay, I can write this. And I turned the page in the book that I had been reading most recently to that time, which is called Rising Strong by Dr. Brene Brown. Oh my gosh, I love her. Just a side note, she's amazing. But I was reading Rising Strong, which is kind of third in her series of hers. And I turned the page after that song, and I just went to something that was flagged and highlighted and looked at it. And here's what it said. We are the authors of our lives. We write our own daring endings. So with the lyrics and this quote, put it all together. And what it showed me was I can write whatever I want for my next chapter, the start of my next chapter, which is that assignment that he gave me. It doesn't matter what I've done in the past, what I've accomplished or not accomplished, how many times I've tried something and not gone through with it. It didn't matter at that point. I could start at any point. We all can start at any point and say, I'm writing a different story moving forward. I'm creating a different story for myself. So once I had those two, then I started writing. And as I did last night, I'll share with you what it is that I wrote. For a long time, I thought I knew my story. I believed that my past missteps made up who I was. What I didn't realize was that I was allowing my own judgment of my choices, mistakes, and problems to keep me trapped. I was drifting farther and farther from what I was capable of because I subconsciously didn't think I deserved to achieve it. This is not about where you've been, but where brokenness brings you to. That was another lyric from that song that really spoke to me. I thought brokenness brought me to a place where I wanted to lose weight. Weight, how symbolic. Those pounds, those extra pounds, carried so much more than physical weight. They were my shield, my armor, to guard against hurt, risk, failure, shame, unworthiness, any number of things. I thought I was guarding those things from entering from the outside, when really the pounds were my shield from what I had swirling on the inside. The same thing I was trying to protect myself from were trapped on the inside. They couldn't get out. Today, I bravely remove that armor and step into the arena. I own my choices, my mistakes, and my problems. I own them right alongside of my courage, my compassion, and my strength. I reclaim my truth and my power to own my story in all parts. My story is far from finished. I feel like I'm just beginning to uncover what I'm capable of. I never imagined that I would have a story powerful enough to inspire others to take action in their lives, but here I am. I never imagined I would even have a story powerful enough to inspire myself to act. My story serves who I am working to become every day. My story is just beginning. So in that, I want you to listen to that and go back to listen to it if you need to. But what that says and what that spoke to me in that moment with the lyrics to the song and the quote in the book, and then what came to me as far as how I was treating myself, that may be a lot of what you're struggling with as well. I was judging myself, and I was afraid others were going to judge me, but I did enough judging to start with. They didn't need to judge anything. I was doing it myself. I was judging myself for every little past mistake or attempt, and not trying to lose weight, for example, trying to lose weight, not going through with it, quitting a couple months down the road, not being fully committed, deciding not to audition for anything from a vocal perspective because someone told me one time that I didn't have the type of voice for solo work, letting that affect me and bring me down and just crumble my self-esteem. Any number of things, any mistakes or decisions that I made growing up that, I mean, how old am I? This was last year that I was doing this. I was 39 and I was still holding on to mistakes from 7th grade, like 7th grade through junior year in college or in high school. I was holding on to so much from that, and you might be as well. So that's what I'm encouraging you to do with this, and that's why I'm sharing my personal story with you and my personal journey through thinking all I needed to do was lose weight and that would solve all my problems, to figuring out there's more underneath that, and having the courage to ask those questions, dig in a little bit, read the books, listen to the podcasts, have conversations, really vulnerable conversations with people that you trust. Go to therapy if that's what you need, to have somebody who's designed to be a professional listener. How fantastic is that? To be a professional listener and help you dig into that. But don't just take it at face value and say it's all about your weight, or it's all about any other thing that you might be struggling with in your life. There's likely something deeper underneath that. And the one thing that I've learned in my journey, the most important thing, is that if you choose not to dig into that, you will never truly change and solve the rest of it. What you initially were trying to do, wondering why you keep quitting things, wondering why you can't commit to yourself, wondering why you don't take chances, it's because you're not willing to dig in to figure those out and find those answers. But once you do, and you find a community or a coach or a therapist or any number of things that will truly support you in that, I can't even begin to describe to you the difference that it will make in your life. What I'll be doing tomorrow and the next few days in this series is I'll be turning this then, now that you've seen my story, we're going to talk more about what you might be struggling with and what your stories might be. And I'll give you some real concrete tips and action items that you can take and really start to do this kind of work in your own life, because you are worth it. You are worth digging in and figuring out what it is that's holding you back. You deserve so much more than what you're allowing yourself to have right now.